I'll let you all be off the air for a few minutes.
I just don't want to go back to prison.
It's a lifestyle.
Go!
Look at this shit.
Security 55267. See ya.
Got a 9mm.
You ready to go? In control.
It's 5:30 in the morning.
What's up, Javo?
See ya.
And for the first time in 4.5 years,
See ya.
Arnulfo Vascones is about to be a free man. As he says goodbye to what he calls his second family,
And it's like I have my family out there, but I have my family here.
he thinks about rebuilding his life.
Finally, today, huh? Yeah.
He hopes he's out for good, out of here, out of trouble.
They got me like some job numbers where I could call and they'll hire me, you know?
But to do that, this
4 years.
convicted drug dealer has to stay clean and report to his parole officer regularly.
Going home
It
finally.
will not be easy.
Start using or whatever and then find myself not caring about reporting and shit like that, you know?
His first test in 24 hours when he's due to report. Say he's worried
Your number, please.
Arnulfo Vascones, K47795.
is an understatement.
Hands are sweating. I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Sign right there.
Just nervous. Mostly nervous. I don't want to come back.
The odds are against him. According to the State Department of Corrections, more than half of California's parolees go back to prison within 2 years. Sergeant Wayne Mitchell supervises Facility 1 at Donovan State Prison.
How many faces do you see coming back and forth through the gates?
And thus far in my career, I've seen individuals leave in the morning, be back in custody before the end of the evening.
While those parolees return to a life of crime and wind up here again,
I think we got a process, so I think we go.
some don't come back so soon.
San Diego's most well-known bank robber is at it again.
Some make news after slipping out of view and out of reach of the parole officers assigned to keep tabs on them. Ex-cons like Fabio Garcia. Investigators say the convicted felon shot a man after an argument on the freeway. Or the man known as the Pale-Face Bandit, accused of robbing more than 20 banks in 3 months. These are members of the state's fugitive apprehension team. They let us come along for several days as they hunted down some of the most dangerous parolees on the loose in San Diego County.
The greatest risk to the community, that's where we're going to focus our attention.
Jim Stager heads up the team.
Ready for me to move any closer?
On this day, Stager and his team begin looking for 2 parolees at large.
Our camera and the agent's still on the house in question?
But their focus quickly shifts.
Okay, go guys, go. Negative, they're en route and they're pulling into the structure right now.
When they spot drug deals going down at the home of another parolee near their stakeout.
Either one looks like the primary.
The parolee isn't here, but they catch a resident with meth. Arrest made,
25, please, and it's 20.
a quick lunch, then on to the next parolee at large.
He's a pal. He's supposed to be a fighter.
31-year-old Sean Barber, a parole violator and gang member with a laundry list of drug, robbery, and assault charges. And he's hiding out at an El Cajon apartment.
There's 2 windows on this side. This is another complex that comes back like this, and I want somebody to cover Ernie as we go up.
The parole hunters move in.
Place is 61, interrupt! Go!
Barber failed a drug test in August, then stopped reporting to his parole officer. He's been on the run ever since. Another criminal off the streets and not so happy to see us.
Every time I go after somebody, I'm going after them with the same enthusiasm that I would if it was my family that was being terrorized.
That night, the team surrounds a motel,
We have a guy who has a violent history,
hoping to catch one of their biggest, most violent parolees at large.
because this is a mountain of a human being.
6'6", 400-pound Charles Big Brew Waugh,
This is one you might not make it home on.
convicted of assault,
This is a big bad guy.
now suspected of illegally selling guns out of his car.
He got mad at a tow truck driver who was repossessing his motorcycle, put his head between the tow truck and the tow truck door, and slammed the door repeatedly on his head. So he has a temper.
Police, interrupt!
But Waugh's not here.
We'll get him another night.
Another wanted ex-con will spend tonight, free somewhere in San Diego.
A lot of times when it's time to go home, that's the hardest thing to do is go home because you know that bad guy's out there, and if I don't get him today, he might hurt somebody.
Pat and Jeff will be set up in the van basically to our west.
It's several days later, and the team gets a call from Wah. He wants to turn himself in.
We're going to put him in the van.
And they've agreed to meet him here and now.
Everybody's a little bit tighter right now.
They're skeptical.
Basically, what we basically are watching for is any sort of ambush, surprise.
But Wah gives up without a fight.
37 years of my life, I've done everything wrong. Basically wanted to do the right thing. I can't run and hide. I think it was alcohol. I like to drink. It's hard. It's hard.
And that's the story of so many of these parolees at large. Men and women who can get out, but can't get away from the demons that put them in prison.
Don't want to test. They know that they're dirty. They abscond. Next thing you know, they're back in the custody.
Which brings us back
K47795.
You gonna stay clean?
to our brand new parolee.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
Try to control his anger, try to resist gangs and drugs, and try to become a good father.
I'm gonna try to keep myself occupied this time on positive things instead of just wandering the streets.
I tell them, listen, you came to prison by yourself. You're going home by yourself. Make the adjustments that are needed in order for you to be productive in society. If you can't do that, you'll be a returnee. You'll be coming back here to visit me.